I'm raising my kids in this community, and I don't want them to grow up and see the same things I saw. Changing these conditions in these communities don't have to be done from the inside out. When you get people that are committed, that are on the ground, that lives here, that breathe this poverty, that's the only way we can get out of this rut that we're in.
There's no denying that we live in a totally interdependent world. Our economic development theory and practice needs to follow that. WealthWorks comes on the heels of decades of economic development investment that, in my mind, hasn't worked.
There are a lot of other things that come into play as to what thriving economy really looks like. It's driven by the kind of people that we produce, the kind of values that we hold, the place where we live, the food that we eat. How do we get local people more involved in what the call for resiliency looks like?
The success of WealthWorks is that we have tried it and succeeded with it in communities where traditional economic development has given up. These are areas where the resources have been extracted, things that are grown have just been exported, where individuals have been trained for jobs that don't exist, where young people are leaving the area.
We have amazing traditions of self-reliance and cooperation and helping each other in times of trouble that we can remember and build on. If we do this, we're returning to or reinforcing some parts of our culture that maybe we've lost.
The goals of WealthWorks are really threefold. To look at multiple assets in a community that you're building. It's about local ownership and control, and finally, lifting up low-income individuals, businesses, whole neighborhoods in a very intentional way and incorporating that into the strategy from the very beginning. A community that wants to engage this approach has several steps to really set this up. At some point, there has to be a designated coordinator.
We identify the assets. That includes people and talent and partners and institutions, and try to work with communities to identify an opportunity and meet a need.
The next piece is, who are the partners to make this work? And this is where we begin to chart out the whole value chain to meet a market demand. A wealth-creating value chain brings together a whole host of partners that have probably never worked together.
You're looking at a whole economic system, and it works from the bottom all the way to the top. It's people, you understand, that you're connecting with.
We're totally dependent on each other as well as anyone. Because you get in a poverty area or somewhere it's been downtrodden, and you come in and fix their house up. One house alone has employed the salesman at the lumber company. He's employed the loaders. He's employed the lunch worker. He's employed the gas station attendant.
Traditionally, you have a supply chain. You buy the cheapest supplies you can get. But with a value chain, you buy the supplies that benefit your community the best. So you have to work in a continuum where you want your partners to succeed.
The purpose of local ownership is to allow wealth to stick locally. But those benefits aren't just financial. They're also in terms of the skills that are being built, the knowledge that is being built to ensure that all of those 8 forms of capital that you're impacting benefit the community as opposed to being extracted.
Changing a mindset is what we had to do, and people realize that they're in control of their own destinies. Instead of waiting on jobs to come, they're creating jobs now and seeing themselves in that position.
We can get to the goals that we want with better local economies. This is a really powerful tool to be able to do it.
Value chain work is important, whether it is energy or food or forest products, because it's a sustainable way of making a difference.
Value chains can work in any context. If you can make them work in persistently poor areas, you can make them work anywhere. And I think that's what we're proving through the whole WealthWorks approach. It's not an easy process, but lifting up the positive in a community and building on those assets without harming any other assets becomes infectious.
I think once people have hope, the rest will come. That hope, I think, is going to be the driving force that will change these rural communities, these poverty-stricken communities.
We live here. It's who we are, and we're going to stay here. So as long as we're going to stay here, I'm going to make a difference. I want to stand in the gap, and I'm going to make this happen.